Hey everybody, today we are going to be looking at our feet and see why feet can be so weak at times. When we have injuries within the foot and ankle, we really want to look at the foot and the strength that is in and around the foot and ankle. One thing we want to look at is the arch height. Do they pronate too much? Do they supinate too much? Can I get my fingers underneath? A test that we do in here is called the navicular drift test, which we won't do here, but we essentially see from a seated position to a standing position, does the arch move from more of a flat to more of a supinated position, from a seated to standing position. I also want to know how well can they move their toes. So I'm going to have her do a little bit of toe yoga. Can we lift up just the big toe? Good. And then can we lift up the other 4 toes, keeping the big toe planted into the ground, which we can here. If we cannot lift up the big toe sufficiently, that's going to alter the way that we walk, causing some compensations further up the lower chain. What I can do here is a double dorsiflexion test. I'm going to take the foot and see if I can lift it up and get around 45 degrees based off the floor. If we can achieve that 45-degree mark, she has good dorsiflexion within the foot. We just have to train her on how to access that movement. The next thing that we're going to look at is going to be the strength of the toes. What we're going to have Mary do here is she is going to stand feet right underneath her hips. We would like to have this done with a wall, that way we don't fall. But for demonstration purposes, we are going to have her lift and splay her toes out, grip the ground, and we're going to have her lean her body weight forward over top of her toes. What we can see here is a little bit of creases in the toes itself, meaning that the flexor digitorum brevis muscle in the bottom of the foot, responsible for the strength of our toes, is actually firing and is strong. In most cases, when we see weak feet or the inability to stay balanced, multiple falls, it's because we don't have good control or strength within our toes. For us to accurately test the strength, both of the big toe but the rest of the toes, we need a baseline. We need to know what that strength is. Here we have a toe dynamometer, and we're going to test that out. So we're going to have the big toe placed up. I'm placing this underneath the toe. What Mary's going to do is similar to what we were doing earlier. She's going to grip the ground and not let me pull this out. Good. Beautiful. So we had about 25.1 pounds. Essentially for the big toe, we want the strength to be within 10% of our body weight. So if we are 200 pounds, we want at least 20 pounds of pressure within the big toe as a good baseline. For the rest of the toes, same concept as the anterior lean test to see if we get activation in the bottom muscles of our foot, such as the flexor digitorum brevis. And Mary's going to grip the ground again. Don't let me pull it out. Good. And we got 20.2 peak force. We want the toes to be about 50% strength of the big toe itself. She meets both of those conditions there. And it's a good baseline for us to start at the very beginning of our treatment plan. That way when we progress exercises and we alter shoes, if that is the case, that we know that we are seeing changes in the foot, both functionally but also strength-wise as well.